Oh, I found the best YouTube channel. So let's go watch the most recent video.
The untold truth of They Live is that it is the truth.
What the hell is They Live?
Despite being an initial failure at the box office,
Oh, it's a movie.
They Live is widely considered to be one of the forgotten masterpieces of 80s cinema.
You know what? Let's just have him explain why it's not a masterpiece.
Chock full of cheesy one-liners, overly long fight scenes, and B-movie special effects that look like they were made in someone's garage.
It's a masterpiece, chock full of fight scenes that last too long, cheesy one-liners, and bad special effects. You just contradicted yourself in the same sentence.
If you've seen the movie, you probably know everything that we're going to say. But for those who haven't seen it, well, you can find it here on YouTube, but...
Nope, I'm not gonna go watch it.
Spoiler warning, here's the plot. They Live follows an unnamed protagonist who discovers, through special sunglasses, that the ruling class are aliens concealing their appearance and manipulating people to spend money, breed, and accept the status quo with subliminal messages in mass media.
Yeah, reminds you of something, Britain.
Best or worst part, though, besides that bubblegum line, duh.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
While it was meant to be a funny gag, the Orwellian reality of the movie's universe is not so different from our own. In fact, with all of the new information coming up...
Then he puts up a graphic of a cell phone tower, which I'm assuming, which is 5G. The Illuminati and the virus I can't talk about.
In recent months, you'd be forgiven for thinking we're not actually living the movie ourselves. While the sci-fi horror world doesn't really seem like conspiracy or fantasy, it's actually closer to reality than you think. Drones in the sky, conspiracies in
Drones in the sky? What?
our heads, militarized police in the street.
Then he shows of a bunch of police standing behind a treaded ballistic shield, because that's militarized, and that's literally the worst possible thing to move in. That doesn't prevent against a large non-moving crowd, because it's so militarized. They're using paintball guns.
Streets, economic inequality at every corner.
How does that make sense? Economic inequality? Okay, so what you're saying is, okay, I'm gonna go buy something. Well, I don't really need that something, but me and my friend here, screw this economic example time. So, me and my friend make the same wage and we own the exact same things. But one day, I decide to go buy something I don't need and he decides to save. Well, oh no, we just had economic inequality, and if that happens enough time with enough things, we're gonna start having the rich and the poor.
Of society, media, and a ruling class that seeks to control our minds through broadcast frequencies. Oh.
Okay, what?
Wait, sorry, the movie, right. So, the film follows this unnamed nobody, whose identity is revealed in the credits as nada, the Spanish word for nothing. And while this is seemingly just an editing choice, there's an extra layer of meaning to it, in that Roddy Piper's character really is a nobody. He's a homeless drifter with no family, job, or any kind of life that we know of. There's something comfortingly poetic about the fact that a nobody can see through the lies of society.
Yeah, in fact, they can see so well through the lies of society, they haven't revealed it to anybody.
The idea that you don't need to be special or be of a particular class to...
Well, he is special, and he is of a particular class. I mean, I guess particular class thing doesn't work, but he is special, because if he's the only one who can see this, then how is he not special? He's unique, one of a kind.
To awaken to the truth. The movie's first and most important message is that all you need to wake up is the ability and determination to see. There's so much we could talk...
No, you also probably need a major in economics, political science, and other things like that.
About in this movie, about its similarities to our world, and even the fact that the director, John Carpenter, came out in 2015 and outright said, you have to understand something. It's a documentary, not science fiction.
What the fuck? Okay, the director looks like Einstein if he was from the South.
About it being a critique of the Reagan administration and commercialism. But the truth
The
is,
Reagan?
there's something
What? What do you mean the Reagan administration?
much more sinister and relevant expressed in the movie. Spiritual warfare. The
What?
aliens who may have influenced David Icke's reptilians somehow stay in
I'm confused. Aliens equal lizards.
control by using repetitive subliminal messaging and broadcasting frequencies to deliberately keep everyone's vibration low, which is what allows everyone to be controlled. How do they do this?
By radio?
The frequencies and messages are sent out by these little satellite dishes attached to traffic lights that are disguised, and they send off some classical subliminal programming like, you will obey, you will not question reality, you will work 9 to 5. Of course, no one can actually hear this, because it's subliminal and everything, but everyone is unknowingly affected. On top of that, every billboard, magazine, and piece of media is delicately crafted to perpetuate the same message. Nothing ever comes solely from one source, except, of course, their signal, and the aliens are sending the same message through every.
So how is it the truth that aliens exist and they're sending waves of whatever technology through the air and into our minds? What evidence do you have of this? Satellite dishes exist? Sure.
Every aspect of society, repeating it every day, every year, forever. In other words, it is that sense of repetition and modality that keeps everyone asleep. This is even where we get the name of the movie from. They live, we sleep. In the past few months, the whole COVID pandemic is a great
You said the word.
example of this. It's beginning to come out that certain countries are overstating their death rates, overdiagnosing people with regular flu, and even pushing vaccines that haven't been control tested.
Oh, and also countries forcing doctors to report something that's not COVID as COVID for political gains.
As we talked about before on this channel, the true virus is the sense of fear and distress that has come along.
No, it's the virus. Okay, so you're telling me nobody was really worried about the swine flu. I mean, they were, but it's a flu, and nobody was really worried about it in the beginning, and it still killed people. So nobody was worried about the COVID pandemic, and it still killed people, or at the beginning at least. So, what do you mean the virus is its fear?
Along with COVID-19, and the mass media has bombarded us from every angle with exaggerated information, arguably.
Okay, yes, this is kind of true. Inflated information has been going to for political gains or some reason.
An effort to favor control and social influence.
Yes, very true.
He has his sunglasses on. Nada sees through the smoke and mirrors projected by the advertisement and mass media. He only sees the core of their message, the only reason why they exist.
And that's advertisement. Because if they don't have advertisement, they don't have any money, or they have to become a monthly subscription service.
Every advert, media, and magazine is the exact same. Even though they appear different and are all owned by different companies, they all have the same base message. Ultimately, they all serve as the same purpose of translating the message from the 1% to the masses. Consume, obey, reproduce, and conform. Now, the
What?
movie's main concept is, of course, the truth-seeing sunglasses that let Nada see the aliens. While they look like the most 80s fashion choice ever, like everything in this movie, there's something more about them underneath the surface. For the most part, they illustrate the importance of knowledge in one's world perception.
Knowledge? What do you mean knowledge?
Two people can be looking at the exact same
thing and see the exact same thing.
Yet perceive two very different realities, depending on the level of information and the awareness that they have.
Okay, yeah. That's just called interpretation, not seeing different things.
Modern politics today is an excellent choice.
No, it's not.
Some people see the left wing, some people see the right wing, and some people see a bird that's having a lot of difficulty flying.
Yeah.
Nada's sunglasses can, thus, represent one's knowledge of the truth, which allows a clear perception.
The truth? No. No, he can't. They're not the truth. He knows more than everybody else, but he doesn't know the truth fully.
Of reality. Further, the sunglasses usually give everyone a nasty headache, especially when they're taken off. When first exposed to the truth, adapting to the new reality can be difficult and even painful. However, after a while, it becomes a seamless part of the person. Once you understand
What?
the new truth, you can never go back to your old reality. In fact,
Yeah. I mean, you can try to, but you never will.
the overly long-winded fight scene is probably the best example of this. During his alley fight with Frank, Nada only wants to show his friend the truth and to help him wake up. But Frank is so attached to the lie that he's living that he even gets violent to defend it. In what is probably the greatest fight scene in movie history,
No, it goes on for way too long.
it's effectively an 80s meme, okay? The underlying message is that sometimes you have to beat the truth into people.
Really. That's not necessarily probably going to be the truth then. You know, kind of like Hitler. And, you know, forcing people to believe that the concentration camps were prisons.
Because they're comfortable in their lies and illusion and are willing to fight to protect it. Then again, maybe there's another lesson here of allowing others to have their own experience.
Yeah.
Although, of course, that idea is not very in the favor of Nada here. Now, the other major tactic used by the aliens is to falsify any new information and brand it as a conspiracy theory to get the masses believing it's nonsense.
Yeah. Kind of like the media.
Right from the start, when our hero meets the guys in the church, the police force and SWAT unit come and arrest everyone to keep them quiet. Later on, the truth seers are
How do you... Oh, it's probably in the movie.
branded as terrorists and start getting hunted because they're a threat to the status quo.
How do you know? Just because you're observing it from one person's point of view doesn't mean that's actually what happened. What if they were actually terrorists, and this person doesn't have all the information? Again, they're not truth-seeing glasses. They just give you slightly more information.
Which of course is totally something that's broadcast by mass media. Nada and Frank quickly become social pariahs, being hunted by the police, the media, and even the average Joes who think that they're helping the good guys. Towards the end of the film, Nada and Frank sneak into the alien secret base, which is a network of secret tunnels that even has portals to the rest of the world and even outer space. Inside,
Yeah, this is why it's an awful movie.
they see some pretty weird things, like all of the elite having a fancy dinner party discussing world domination. One of the most bitter lines comes just after this, where the broke, poor homeless guy from the beginning is now a super rich elite, and tells them,
We all sell out every day, might as well be on the winning team.
all this talk of a world without countries, borders,
Yeah, it sounds awful.
good guys, and bad guys seems great on the surface, but once you
Yes, but then people are bad, and, well, guess what? They'll start fighting.
look underneath, you see some pretty obvious references to the whole Illuminati New World Order thing,
God.
which has been a popular interpretation of this movie for a long time. It's pretty clearly shown that the aliens and the one percenters work together for mutual benefit, with the ruling class supplying everyday people to the aliens, and the aliens giving everyone little pay raises. The greatest atrocity of spiritual warfare committed by the aliens, then, is the commercialization of human life. But the
Okay? What's this supposed to be?
agonizing truth of they live is the implication that the 1% are okay with it, and that they would sell their own species out if it meant a pay raise.
Yeah, that's probably true.
The movie was also plagued with racial issues surrounding the identity of the aliens, but
Oh, God.
there's a lot of different interpretations. For one, the aliens referred to Earth as their own third world nation, a sentiment that is eerily similar to the colonial attitudes of Europe in the 18th century.
The colonial attitudes of Europe was that they had better technology, therefore they could conquer and pillage.
Further, there may be something to be said about the fact that the truth seer sunglasses make the wearer perceive the world in black and white, allowing us to see everything for what it is, without the distraction.
No, they're not truth-seeing. just because you see something, you even made this example in the first place. Just because two people see something and see different things doesn't mean one of them is correct.
The distraction of color, which ultimately is seen as something that separates us. Taking a spiritual perspective to
What? No. The entire point of that was to show the distractions. Like, see, here's color, here's all this fun, fancy stuff, and when you put on the glasses, it's just cut and dry, black and white.
they live really is just a matter of changing how we define things. Nothing really
What?
changes in the interpretation. The sunglasses are a metaphor for enlightenment and awakening. The frequencies and subliminal messaging represent stuff like the fluoride in our water and other
Fluoride in our water? Fluoride? What do you mean fluoride in our water? I mean, I know there is, and there's actually more fluorine, but fluoride.
and other real-life frequencies in our music.
Oh, also, you have fluorine in your toothpaste. So what?
Cell towers and whatnot that also
Repeat that?
stuff like the fluoride in our water and other real-life frequencies in our music. Cell towers and whatnot that also lower our vibration. Well,
Cell towers? Cell towers. Okay, for this to be able to happen, every single president, or every single country, or every single person who has significant power, or every single person in the world besides a select few, doesn't know about cell towers controlling us. So you're telling me all the big companies know this, but, they don't reveal it. Every single company who makes cell towers.
while increasing our sense of separation. Whichever way you want to interpret they live, the underlying messages usually stay the same. Society is structured in a way to keep us complacent and trapped in a never-ending cycle of debt to keep us controlled. Ironically, though, the movie is also a critique of American greed, in which the solution is an all-American macho man shooting up foreign intruders with a machine gun. The way that the movie
As he plays a clip of
shows the
the
solution
person
is the
shooting
biggest
up a
case of
shotgun.
America, yeah, ever seen. Perhaps, like Mad Pat's film theory on the Matrix, there's a sense
Jesus Christ.
here that we can never truly escape the system as long as we subscribe to the more commercialized ways of solving it. In other words, perhaps the system can't be fixed because it isn't broken. It's perfectly designed this way to create suffering. Maybe that's too pessimistic of an outlook, though.
Unfortunately, pessimism survives. Pessimism is the best.
But I do think that in order to make real change, both within ourselves and in society, we must shift our mindset first, away from that which originally created the system and into a higher
What system?
vibration. The only question then is whether we'll be able to do that when the world is designed against us doing exactly that. Fortune, however, does favor the bold. In this movie,
What?
this happens with Nada destroying the broadcast tower at the end of the film, and suddenly the truth is revealed in plain sight to everyone. Perhaps that's really what we need today, a mass revelation of truth for the all.
Yeah, like what? Okay, I think this video is long enough.